So how might the Donegal senior footballers approach the 2022 inter-county season? Yes, that's right, the 2022 inter-county season is only a matter of months away now. It starts at the end of January. The National Football League resumes, or I suppose commences. The 2022 National Football League commences at the start of 2022. And the Donegal senior footballers are an interesting one, aren't they? Because knocked out by Tyrone in the Ulster semi-finals, beaten of course by a scoreline of 22 points to 114. A disappointing day for Donegal considering their little mini run that they had over Tyrone over the past couple of years. And unfortunately for Donegal, Michael Murphy and Declan Bonnar, it was another season of disappointment, having been knocked out in the Ulster Championship for a second year running. And that's what the topic of this podcast is today, and that is going to be the topic of discussion. We're going to be looking at Donegal ahead of the 2022 GAA season. It was a pleasure to speak with Patrick Sharkey of the GAA Zone Media podcast. Long-term subscribers of the channel would have seen him on this podcast before, where we discuss all things Donegal in this video. And yeah, we are going to be doing a number of previews now, a number of season previews ahead of the upcoming GAA inter-county season. We're going to get fans on from Limerick, Tipperary, Clare, Dublin, Meath, Kildare, Tyrone, Derry, Down, Mayo, Galway. I mean, we're going to get fans on from as many counties as we can in preparation for the 2022 GAA season, and so we can keep the videos going and keep the content going through Christmas. So I do very much hope you appreciate the content that comes on the channel. And yeah, the Donegal season preview, the 2022 Donegal season preview on GAA Fan TV. My name is Aaron. Let's get straight into it.
Well, nowadays you got to have that because people nowadays.
Before we get straight into the podcast, I just want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors, Declan Kirby GAA Star. Declan Kirby GAA Star Championship Journey. It's a series of GAA team children's books written by primary school teacher and GAA coach Michael Egan. You can check it out in the link in the description down below, of course, as well. Follow the trials and tribulations of Declan Kirby and his team at Smithgreen Gaelic Football Club, recently formed but promising GAA team. The book is now available in Easons and all good bookshops, so check it out in the description down below, and let's get straight into it. Okay, so I'm here now with Patrick Sharkey of GAA Zone Media. We're going to be previewing the Donegal senior footballers and the Donegal senior hurlers. We're going to touch on the hurlers a little bit towards the end, as well as some general predictions, just a general chit chat, I suppose, going into the 2022 All-Ireland National Football and Hurling League, and of course the All-Ireland Championships. I know the inter-county season seems so far away with the fact that we're in early December and we're not too far away from Christmas and whatnot, but before we know it, the GAA season will be back. But I suppose, first of all, Patrick, how's things with yourself? Anyway, great to be on, and I suppose great to, once again be previewing Donegal for another, I suppose, hopefully entertaining GAA Championship season.
Yeah. Some more bold predictions, and they had like I like to choose one or two that maybe throw people out there, So, first time we got the Cork v Kerry prediction right. The other time we got the prediction of Cavan and Tipperary getting reality down Division 4. So I will open for third time lucky. Then maybe get some kind of wild prediction wrong, but usually some of the more general ones I don't really do too well in. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it is good to give a bit of a mad prediction every now and again, and I suppose you've definitely been a man for that anyways. But I'd say you're excited enough for the inter-county action now to return next month, I suppose, end of January now, so not far away.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at it, pre-season tournaments. I understand, they're not the big deal, but where I come from, like Bunkrana's intermediate club, but there's a lot of local junior clubs, and there tends to be, and it's shown we're probably one of the lesser picked areas of Donegal. So when you see tends to be a lot more local lads in those games. So it's just good to see some of them getting the chance there, and all the rest, it's still a good platform for getting into it, and everything. And, it's 2 years ago, they took the third level teams out of it due to just the change in the Sigurdsson Cup schedule. But look, hopefully be good to see some young talent for Donegal, and could also be a chance to get some players maybe back from injury and everything, and get the fitness levels back up, and hopefully a successful league campaign.
Yeah, and how have you found the club action as well? I know St. Eunan's there beaten by Waddy Graham's Glen in the Ulster club preliminary round, if I can say that word right. But how have you found the club action and all the games? I suppose plenty of entertainment there as well.
Yeah, no, the club action's been second to none Yeah, you know, St. Eunan's were really holding Waddy Graham's in the rope, but then like one mistake at the end kind of just ended it there. Like, and they're probably sitting at home sick, looking at, you know, Glen being a good bit above Scottstown. I thought Scottstown would go on one Ulster. I just thought, you know, they've been there so many times. It was finding time for them to get over there. But look, you know, fair play to Glen, and you know, Glen Kilcoo. You know, if you ask me, that's probably going to be the All Ireland final, that game. Not just an Ulster final. I know, like, with Cora Finn not there, but Mount Bellow, I would like to see what they can do there. You know, I say they'll probably come through Connacht easy enough, but what I would say is that, you know, they just looked, you know, a good bit better there, and I think the score, and they both done better, and the score lines would even suggest, you know, which is mad to think, you know. So I just think, you know, that is going to be a very good game, like, and everything. So hopefully get to it and everything. And yeah, and you know, there's been some good games in the hurling as well, you know. So yeah, but look, hopefully it works out there. And yeah.
Yeah, like I'd probably second your thought there as well in terms of Glen going up against Waddy Graham's Glen. Like, it is such a huge game to be happening in a Ulster club semi-final. Like, and you'd probably have to feel like the momentum that whatever side won that game, like the momentum they'd have going into the Ulster club final and then the semi-finals, like you'd have to consider them probably the favourites.
Yeah, that's it there. Look, but obviously, you know, people have been, you know, making their look. A lot of people haven't been impressed by Austin Stacks and Kerry, you know, that's the best carriers in there. But you know, there's been good things said about St. Finbarrs and Cork, you know, and all the rest, and obviously Leinster, you know, Kilmacud Crokes last time they were in the Leinster Championship, they were obviously got knocked out by
Mullinachta,
you know, kind of one of the biggest sporting clubs in Ireland participation wise. And then you had this little half parish in Longford going out beating them in the final. Like, so surely there's that bit of fire in the camp and Kilmacud's Cokes thinking they should be going on to, maybe if they won an All Ireland, they'd probably shut everyone up. But that's the only thing they need to do. Like, and if they don't do it, it's still going to haunt them. So, but look, that's another one there. And yeah, and obviously I'd say Mount Bellew probably are the strongest team in Connacht. Yeah.
And looking at Donegal then, I suppose, getting back to Donegal ahead of the upcoming National League in 2022, and looking at the footballers, I suppose, first of all, like, how would you reflect on Donegal last year, obviously beaten by Tyrone in the Ulster semi-finals? Like, how do you reflect upon that now, the fact that it's 4 or 5 months on, 4 or 5 months later?
Yeah, it just shows, you know, maybe like it's just sliding door moments. Like, we were even when Murphy was off, like, with the chance to, you know, convert that penalty and go 4 points off, you know, but then it just, you know, that kind of that double black card, you know, and everything. And like, a lot of Donegal fans felt it was harsh, like, but I say probably, you know, it was harsh, but it was probably, I don't think there was a better decision that could have been made. But still, it was a tough enough kind of blow there. Obviously, kind of, well, the league's so close, you know, it was kind of hard to take that league serious, kind of, with it being just a provincial thing, and then it being so close to the thing there, we were never really going to take that game against Dublin too serious. But there are some players there, like, you know, we've the only thing is, you know, the emergence of Conor O'Donnell, he's been really, really good. And I think, you know, if you start to make games in the league, he'll finally be ready to make the step up and become a starter in the team now. And especially, you know, with Paddy McGrath out of the team, you know, there's big bits for someone in the team to fill.
Yeah, like, and I suppose having seen Tyrone go on and win it as well from there, like, I mean, as you said there, it really was a sliding doors moment, because when you look back to last year and the year before, and really since 2018, like, Donegal seemed to have Tyrone's number. They were the side that was beating Tyrone year in, year out. And then you get Michael Murphy, who was obviously injured coming into the game, and then he misses a penalty, he gets sent off. Tyrone go on to win the game comfortably with the extra man in there, and then obviously beat Monaghan, beat Kerry, beat Mayo. The rest is history. So like how did it feel when you see Tyrone go all the way and win it? Because you know, that in many ways I almost feel like that could have been used, like, because you were the one who was beating Tyrone year in, year out, you know.
Yeah, but I I do think that there, but I don't know if we would have. I don't know if we would have, when things got tough. Now it did help, against Tyrone that laid on in probably the deciding moments that David Clifford went off. But I don't know if we would have been, maybe if Kerry put that kind of challenge to us, we would have responded the same way. I say we probably would have beat Monaghan and that there. But look, I do think, yeah, so sometimes I do, but if we managed to have got past Kerry and got Mayo, like Mayo don't win All Ireland finals. If you put Leitrim in the All Ireland final, they'd probably beat Mayo. So it just gets them there. So it's just kind of is there. But I do think, it's I do think it's a missed opportunity. And there's definitely, there's 4 teams in Ulster capable of beating Tyrone. It's us, Armagh, Monaghan, and Derry. Us 4 are all capable of beating Tyrone. So now maybe Armagh, Derry, and even Monaghan to an extent might not be thinking All Ireland. They'd be lucky to get. I say they're probably aiming to get an Ulster title, but still they're still just thinking, that's such a beatable, a team that's beatable. But Tyrone, they've really done themselves well. And I just think that's just what happens when you've a full panel of that there, and it just shows the kind of modern way. And the big difference that Tyrone team to other teams is maybe they don't have the big stars of Canavans. They're more of a team. And maybe that there. So and then
Did it surprise you seeing them go all the way and win it? Because I don't think anyone really predicted Tyrone. I think Tyrone maybe were probably 4th favourites, maybe going into those semi-finals, and that's not to disrespect Tyrone. I think that was just a general point of view. And even looking at the odds for the All Ireland next year, Tyrone are 4th favourites, which it's kind of incredible, really, for an All Ireland winner. So could you, I suppose, at that moment in time, see them going on to win it at that time, or was it a bit of a surprise?
I definitely have never been. I definitely was not. See, I was. What do you call it? I wasn't surprised with Kerry's exit because they were always going to burn out. They took that league far too serious for any team. I really, I have a lot of respect for what, Kerry doing. They'll always be in the top 5 teams in the country, no doubt about it. But it's just the way it went there. And, I don't know, but it almost felt like, there was people making some kind of jokes, maybe the COVID, maybe Tyrone just want more preparation or something. Maybe that was the case or something. But oh no, as soon as they got to the final against Mayo, it's just it's kind of it's hard to picture, some of the players there. But look, fair play to them, But the one thing that's maybe criticism of Mickey Hart's Free Tyrone runners, and maybe they've never got back to the back-to-back All Ireland. So that's always the stage I think they want to be at. But and obviously, the back door's been a really good friend to Tyrone, so I'm sure they're licking their lips at that's back. So that they're but it probably was a surprise, and I say probably with Dublin's exit was a surprise, but I don't think Kerry's exit was a surprise. But once they get to Mayo, just when you think about the way they played against Kerry, it was kind of only going to be one champion, because I think Dublin faded away in that game and Kerry didn't, but Tyrone were just the better of the 2 teams.
Yeah, and I suppose I'd imagine as well, it probably gives you a bit of confidence as well, seeing a side come through Ulster and winning the All Ireland, because what had been 2014, I suppose, Donegal, since the last time they obviously came through Ulster and won the All Ireland. So I'd imagine that's probably in some ways giving you a bit of confidence, because at the start of the year, really, in Ulster, you were looking at it, you were thinking 4 or 5 different teams there could probably win it. You're probably thinking that next year as well, but then whoever comes through that Ulster Championship has got a huge chance of winning the All Ireland. And as you said, qualifiers in there now as well, so it's going to make it hugely exciting.
Yeah, look, I think hasn't benefit in the past, but it's going to be better. Like I understand, maybe look, it's definitely not the championship. Definitely isn't perfect, but the removal of the Super H, I think is going to bring more excitement to it, because you look at 2019, Mayo lost 2 games and got to an All Ireland semi-final, and we lost 1 game at their expense, so and then we were knocked out. So it's kind of fine there. But look, it's going to be a dramatic game. It's going to be a lot more composed, and the only thing too as well that you're not going to have Mayo and Tyrone on 6 weeks on the road against Division 3 and 4 teams, which they easily beat. The good thing is that, they're playing Division 1 teams and 2 teams their standard, unless a Division 3 or 4 team get there. So, like, it's not going to be a big, massive whitewash in the thing there and everything going there. So, that idea there. And, I'm sure second tier championship probably would be probably, there's Ulster counties like Cavan and Antrim, maybe, and maybe down if they get relegated, but they might not. They probably are thinking about, maybe having their day in Croke Park.
Yeah, like, and bringing it back to that Tyrone defeat as well. You were mentioning there, like, when the going gets tough a little bit for Donegal, it does seem to be that way a little bit in the championship and, in the Ulster Championship or, the All Ireland series or whatever. Like, it seems to be when it gets really, really tough going down the home stretch, when there's 1 or 2 points in it. Not always now. Sometimes they've come through a lot of the games, but it does seem like a lot of the time they seem to get caught in those kind of games.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we do tend to just, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just, look, we need to prepare for what it's like we've depended. Look, obviously, I understand Michael Murphy probably surprised he doesn't have a broken back. He's been carrying our team since 2007, but he's still a good, but I don't know. Like, we should maybe, I think with Tyrone, what won them the All Ireland was the fact, they didn't have, their Peter Canavan, just the modern day game. You need to, even the Dublin 6 in a row team, there's no one standout player. They were always just such a good collective unit, maybe, Kerry's over dependence on David Clifford. Maybe that could be a kryptonite for them. But I do feel, I don't know, maybe we can plan for a post Michael Murphy future, maybe, but still, no, if he's fit, play him, like, but if you kind of get me. So I think, I don't know, I think, maybe that has to be Emily and our song, because something like, we can't, 1 season, 1 or 2 seasons, it's bad luck, like, but kind of like 3 or 4 years in a row, like, there's definitely some kind of a problem going on, like, and I don't know what it is, like, but we do have the assistant manager, Paul McGonagall's left and not seeking her on that road, so it's just Declan Bonnar and Stephen Rochford who'll be in the dugout now. So yeah.
And what's the feeling like going into 22 or 2022 as a Donegal fan yourself? Like, what's the expectation going into Division 1 of the league and Ulster, All Ireland? Like, what's the general consensus? I know we're still a bit out, like, we're still about 2 months away from when the league starts, and there might be injuries before then. We always see this every year where players go back training and pick up injuries straight away. So we don't know how that's going to go, but what's the general feeling like going in there?
We wouldn't, well, we don't really care about the Dr. McKenna Cup. The league, I mean, like, we've only ever won in 2007. If we're not going to win All Ireland, it could be a realistic avenue. Maybe if we want to throw out kind of our squad depth, and flex our muscle there. But what I would say is that, yeah, I think, the expectation is that, we're capable of winning Ulster, but I don't think there's too many people in Donegal who are thinking about Sam Maguire. I don't, it's just not a thought, but Ulster's definitely a realistic target, and maybe get to an All Ireland semi-final, or, if maybe, but I definitely can't, obviously we haven't got there since 2014. So we need to maybe focus on, winning Ulster, and then maybe going into and then that there, like, so especially considering, probably, yeah, but it probably won't mean as much, as maybe Tyrone or Calvin's, because the back door, like Tyrone or Monaghan, could easily go out, and get to an All Ireland final. So it's just the way it is.
And where do you stand as well, like, in terms of, I suppose sometimes you have a lot of people who would say Donegal are underachieving, maybe they're not reaching their potential, maybe they should be doing a lot better. But then on the flip side of that, you have a lot of people who say Donegal are overrated and they're maybe they're overachieving. But where do you stand on that?
Look, we only have 2 All Ireland titles. There's like awfully a 4 Tipperary, 4, like, we're not, we don't have, we're not the most illustrious county historically, like, but Jim McGuinness has probably raised standards, raised belief, and there's kind of comes that thing there. But it's kind of like, when you beat Armagh, probably, I think people started to kind of realize we were a top team when we hammered Armagh back in 2020, and then kind of, a kind of strong team that were meant to be on our level, but then, kind of knocking out Tyrone. Like, so we have the results to make people give expectations, So we definitely have there, and we no doubt have, some of the best footballers out there, but and we always, we never get, we've never been hammered in any of our knockouts, I can never say that, which is a good thing, but I just feel, people just kind of don't, but I don't think, but if we haven't got to the All-Ireland semi-final since 2014, and we're still able to win Ulsters, then perhaps we are underachieving. I think, that's the best way of putting it. Yeah, we are underachieving.
Is Declan Bonnar still the right man, do you think?
Well, there was it's hard to be sure. It's kind of they're talking, about the history being reviewed, and all the Facebook comments were basically saying, unless Jim McGuinness is available, well, Declan Bonnar's the right man to take this county forward. So there's always kind of that belief, it's only Declan Bonnar to take, but he got it on the basis that he won the under 21 Ulster back in 2017. It's now the under 20, and since we had the under 20 season, we've had two different under 20 managers. Obviously, it's kind of, our last under 20 game, shows that there's more to life in Gaelic football, but still, it just, there just hasn't been, no under 20 managers usually have won Ulsters, and it's the same criteria which got Jim McGuinness the job. And there's been other managers, so it's kind of usually that there's the pressure on the managers if that there's a really good underage manager, but I think Declan Bonnar he just doesn't have that other, and there's situations in other counties, especially, probably you look at Cork, Keith Ricken coming in to replace Ronan McCarthy, you don't have that kind of happening in Donegal, when you're not winning under 20 Ulsters.
That's what I was going to say as well. I don't from an outside point of view, it doesn't really look like there's anyone there who's putting their hand up really for the job in many ways. It feels like if they were to do a situation where they were to do a vote around all the clubs, they'd probably still end up with Declan Bonnar, because there doesn't really seem to be any other option out there unless Jim McGuinness did come back. But as we've very well seen, he said openly on a number of occasions that he doesn't want to come back. Now, maybe if his own county came calling and maybe that job came available, maybe he would come back. But, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, well, he's been, he's completing the UEFA A Pro license there, so I don't know what he's been. So I don't know, maybe you don't know, you could see him in a dugout of a League of Ireland club or some kind of job where he might be involved in some kind of thing. But he's definitely, he's not getting some of the top UEFA coaching badges, to go back to. Football there. So no, I do like to see the idea, of managers from different sports, going over, in the likes of Liam Sheedy going to Monaghan. But I do think, that sometimes I don't know, but I don't know if he came back, he'd went there, but it'd be very kind of, you don't know, be hard to turn down, but if he does come, but I think he'd be welcomed in a heartbeat by Donegal fans, and he'd be realistic. I can't see him coming back in the next 5 years anyways.
Yeah, and I suppose for Michael Murphy then, obviously Donegal's captain, main man, I suppose leader, legend, all the rest. There was a lot of thoughts and maybe some rumours, maybe when he did get sent off in that game against Tyrone, that maybe that was it for him, maybe those were his last years or his last few days or whatever. Could you see this maybe being his last year, or do you think maybe he's still got another 2-3 years, maybe even more? But I suppose being realistic, probably not.
He's look, he does less running, and that's just the way it is. Players be when they come 30 there, but he's 32 at the minute, will be 33 in August. So, he's still, if you ask me who our best player was, if you ask any GAA fan, they will, 90% of them will say Michael Murphy is the best player still. So, if you're the best player of the team at any age, you still have to kind of stay on, so not until maybe he's kind of gone on, but I definitely think he's kind of, but he's been more, we took Letterkenny IT to the Sigurdsson Cup semi-final in the first season there, and he won a Trench Cup, the lower one there. So with his management with Letterkenny IT, he's nearly setting himself up to go straight into a management job within the county, even if it's maybe an underage role straight after retirement. He says kind of, it's kind of always been his ambition. You know, he was managing the Glen Swoley under 15s when he was 18, so he has always been kind of that coach minded. But still, you know, I if he still has a lot to give on the field, give to it, and then, you know, so, and maybe someday we'll probably see him on the sidelines for Donegal.
Yeah, and I suppose as well, like, because looking at the league as well, when he did get injured and he was missing for a majority of the league campaign, he still got some good results in there, like still beat Tyrone in the league, for example, against the Dubs. Like, I know that was kind of a nothing game. There wasn't really much on the line. I still think he's played relatively well, and even in some of the other games as well against Armagh and whatnot, he still played well. So I suppose, is there a bit of confidence there as well that, like, you're not just over reliant on Michael Murphy. There is other players in there. There is other players, I suppose, stepping up now in the last couple of years, like young players coming through and whatnot.
We're at that level, and we're coming to it now. Like, in the 2019 Division 2 season, we started off very, very slow. Like, Michael Murphy, look, we had a 4.1 over Clare, but, you know, we'd expected down. Like, then we got beat by both Tipperary put 5 goals past us. You know, they were, you know, them and Monaghan are the only 2 teams to do it over the last 5 years. Like, and then you had that Fermanagh loss in Letterkenny. That was a big miss. But then Armagh was beating us in those 2. But then Murphy came off the bench, come with a man, come with the hour, saved the day, won every game for the rest of the league, and went on to win Division 2. Like, so, you know, we've kind of struggling against Division 2 teams without it. Like, and I'm not I'm not going to name it, like, but a particular Tipperary player told me we'd be a Division 3 team without Michael Murphy and Paddy McBurdy on our team, like, which I think we're not at that level, but, you know, but I do think we are. But we're still a good team, you know, and I still think, you know, but our team's a lot older now, like, so I think we're capable, you know, becoming a solid Division 1 team without him. And we showed last year, you know, that we were able to fight to the end, you know, even though we maybe lacked a bit of leadership with Michael Murphy, and even Niall O'Donnell winning that thing there. Like, I think he's really growing into become the next Murphy, and I don't think there'll be a next Murphy, but he's really, you know, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose he's maybe the next in line, or the next one, I suppose, following up from that. Looking at Division 1 then, how do you reckon Donegal will get on then in total? Like, obviously it's an 8-team tournament now, like there's no group stages, which, to be honest, I like the group stages. I would have rather they would have kept it, but in terms of it's an 8-team tournament, you'll be in there with all the big hitters like Dublin, Kerry, Mayo, Tyrone, you know, you've got Armagh, Kildare have obviously come up as well, of course, as well. Like, so how do you reckon Donegal will get on then? Like, what do you think the verdict is there?
I think we'll survive. I think we're good enough. I think we're good enough to say we'll be 5 or 6. We're not going to win it, like I say. You know, I think but I think Kerry are going to win the league. Jack O'Connor wants to make an impression first time around, so that they're like, so I say they'll win the league, and I say relegated will probably be Armagh and probably Monaghan. You know, Monaghan, they've been kind of clutching it late the last few years, you know, and it's nearly like the doomsday clock is kind of ticking on them. So it's, yeah, I know I predicted them to win the league last year just in the third thing, but I do think, you know, maybe it's knocking at their door.
Yeah, like they kind of have been playing a bit dangerous, but at the same time, like Monaghan are one of them teams as well that anytime you write them off or you say they're not gonna win a game, or, you know, I was sure they were gonna get relegated in that game versus Galway. Like, Galway looked like they had it wrapped up and finished, and then they came back, and even in the Ulster Championship semi-finals, despite the tragic circumstances, obviously, with what happened to Brendan O'Duffy, the players went out with their hearts on their sleeves and went on and won the game, you know, even when the game probably shouldn't have taken place. And even against Tyrone in the final, they still somehow managed to give probably a better fight than what Mayo and even Kerry to a certain extent. Well, Kerry were probably a little bit different. They had a couple of injuries and whatnot, but, you know, so I don't know. Like, I still think Monaghan are going to be a team to watch out for, I think, in 2022.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of teams to look out for in 2022, like, so yeah, so no, I think we're definitely that there is. What'd you say again?
Yeah, no, like well, I suppose moving on from that, like in terms of like, do you think they'll take the league serious, or do you think they'll be resting players, trying different things out, or what do you think?
That depends how you taking the league serious. Like, you can't go and play Tyrone, Kerry or Dublin and not take it serious. You know, you kind of but I think, when Kildare come to town, or we come to Kildare, we don't know what the schedule is yet, and not to be disrespectful to them, or maybe even Monaghan or Armagh, he might just kind of tone it down a bit, and I think, that there, but I would like to see Conor there. Oran McFadden-Ferry was kind of missing for the league season last year because he was, out in Lebanon with the army, but he's back now. So I would like to see him, when he'd probably come back a better player as well. And it could be given time for, Neil McGee is committed at 36. He is committed another year to stay with Donegal. He's 5 appearances ahead of Murphy, so I think he's kind of, he kind of wants to give a few more appearances, maybe just to kind of cement his finger for longer. But still, he's still going to be an asset, and even if he doesn't play, he'll be a great asset to a lot of the younger players in the dressing room and all the rest. So, look, I'm definitely looking forward to what it can be. But I'm just going to back what do you call him? Yeah, so yeah, I say it just depends who we're playing. We're going to take it serious, so that's why I'm kind of predicting the mid-table kind of finish. We're not really going to win it, but we're not going to get there. So yeah, I'd probably say it there, and I think Conor. That's going to be the season where Conor O'Donnell announces himself. As a serious talent.
Yeah. Like, is there any other players there you think that could come in 2022 as well? Is there any players coming through under 20s or anything like that could catch the eye, or even at club level with St. Eunan's? I know Conor O'Donnell's obviously there, but maybe even some of his brothers maybe could come into the team there.
Yeah. Conor O'Donnell's 2 brothers there, and there's a few other players there. There is like you have Anthony Doherty, who's a good player, as well. The under 20s, you also have Aaron Doherty from Neve Columba is a top talent as well, and and with Paddy McGrath, and I might see Brendan McCall get more minutes, and we need so they would all be big talents. And there's been certain player, and there's always I always hear tales of certain club players training with them, but I'm not really gonna buy into too much, because they might never kick a ball for the county team, so you just can't be too sure. But I do feel that there'll be a few new faces in there, and I'd probably say Aaron Doherty would probably be the main one, and probably more minutes for Conor O'Donnell, and and even Oisín Gallen needs to probably cement the starting. He's kind of he's brilliant off the bench, but it's nearly a stage. I would love to see him actually become a starter for Donegal, because he definitely has a talent to be that kind of player.
Yeah, is there any worries as well, maybe that there's no under 20s, or I suppose the under 20 success maybe for Donegal in the past couple of years hasn't really been to the level that you'd expect it to be with a Donegal side? Or is there any worry there that maybe there isn't the same talent pool of your Oisín Gallens and whatnot coming through there?
Yeah, that's always the worry. That there's always a few talents there, and as they're kind of down on it last year, obviously, and Monaghan gave up a good fight, just in tragic circumstances, and then there's also like Derry seemed to be winning a lot as well, and they were kind of. So I don't think I've seen. I think like the Donegal minors who are there, they would be who would be kind of last year's minors. I would say in that age category are probably the second best team in the country, but the best team in the country at that age group would be Derry. So Donegal probably won't, that makes them the second best in Ulster. So I do think that there, but I do think that we're just kind of the recent kind of crop. We Peter Mogan is probably the best of the lot to come through, and so so is so many. There has always been a few players that have come through there, and all the rest. Andrew McLean from Kilcar as well is also another top talent, but we just don't have the kind of cause. Most of the 2012 winning team got to an All-Ireland final on the under-21 team in 2010, but 2 years later we're lifting the All-Ireland. So, but we just we're not gonna have that probably big generation just yet. But considering a lot of our players, are from 2012, and there will be a big shift, probably in the next year or two of just talent coming in.
Looking at that championship draw as well, I know obviously it's a good bit away now. I think it's April or May, I think, when the Ulster Championship is due to start. You've got Armagh there first up. I mean, that's a tough game. And at the moment, anyway, at the time of this recording, there is going to be qualifiers. You never quite know with the GAA and the whole worldwide landscape whether that might change or not. But in terms of that game going up against Armagh, that's I know you dismantled them quite easily there 2 years ago, but I suppose you could say Armagh have probably kicked on a little bit since then. So, I mean, I'd imagine that's going to be quite a good game anyway when it does come around.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we're going to get to, what do you call it? Yeah. So the way I view Ulster going, we'll beat Armagh. I think we are good enough to beat Armagh. We've big, there's the kind of, we're bringing back, I think the club player only April, which no, I don't know. No, I don't actually know if that's the case now. I think that's scrapped this split season, but there'll still be a wee bit of respite, between the seasons there. So I think we'll go out, we'll give it our best shot against the Armagh. I think we will get there. Kieran McGinney, they're probably thinking about, maybe getting to quarterfinal, semi-final via a qualifier route, because they would beat any team in Division 2, but that's about it, but I still think, I'll be closer in other times, but I do think we're going to put out them there. So, and Armagh are probably thinking, they got the easier side edge on. We think that as well. So if us two have that mindset, one of us are probably going to get to the Ulster final year, but, that's probably the way I see it there. And you have Tyrone v Fermanagh, local derby. Would really like to see Fermanagh. They're a lot of good people, for a small county. They really get behind their team. But I look, you need to be realistic. They're not going to do it. So no, I don't see that there. But the thing I think that's going to raise the most eyebrows, then they go and play Derry, and then I think that's when Derry are going to knock out Tyrone in the quarterfinal. That's the prediction I'm making. And yeah, and then you have Monaghan playing Down. Monaghan will beat Down. I do think that there, and then Monaghan will beat Derry, and then it'll be, and then Donegal. We play the winner of Antrim and Cavan. Antrim probably could run Cavan close. I'm not denying, they're definitely improving. They've grown as a team. But I still think, Cavan have a bit more quality than them, so they'll get through. And we'll get that sweet revenge in Cavan. What we've been so much longing for. I can't. That's the team. You'd probably want to beat them more than you want to beat Tyrone. So after that, we'll beat them. And then I presume we'll play Monaghan final and we'll beat Monaghan in the final. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Derry prediction's an interesting one, all right. They're definitely on the rise at the minute. Obviously, they'll be playing in Division 2. And like what you said with Antrim, they could easily pull a shock against Cavan. Antrim are the Division 3 team now in 2022, and Cavan are the Division 4 team. So they've kind of traded places there. Do you think whoever comes through Ulster could go on and win the All-Ireland again, after what you've seen in 2022? Do you think the All-Ireland winner could come from Ulster again?
They could, but my favourites would be Dublin. And look, I do think we're entering in hurling. We're entering a very Limerick dominated area. I think they're good enough to do 5 in a row in the hurling, but we'll talk about that later. But I do think, in football, we're kind of going back to a more competitive era. In a year or two, we'll be looking at look at hurling dominated by Limerick, and look at this football, which is so competitive. Look, there's so many teams that can win the All Ireland and everything. And I definitely get there. But I do think, there's one last dance for this Dublin team. I think Desi Farrell after last season at this point, and realistic circumstances, that would have went to a replay against Mayo and they would have beat them again. So, I do think they'll be hard run by. So in the current circumstances, I think Dublin are gonna go and win the All Ireland. Yeah. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, but we might get the semi final. So that there. So I say Galway will do Connacht. They'll knock out Mayo in the first round. I think they have a point to prove, and then Kerry won that there. So we're capable of beating Kerry or Galway. So, but if we meet Dublin in the semi final, or we'll be knocked out. But if we meet Kerry or Galway, we'll be good enough to get an All Ireland final. But no, we're not going to get there. So yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't gone back now and had a look at the the layout of the All Ireland semi-finals. Yeah, I know there will be quarterfinals obviously this year. There won't be Super Eights, but what's your Donegal prediction then? You think semi-final, All Ireland final, maybe, or maybe could Sam be coming back to Donegal for the first time since 2014?
Can't really see many teams getting past England, so I would love it. I really, really would, but I'm going to be realistic. No, I can't see. So yeah, I just think, you know, we need to. No, I don't think we're ready to win Ireland. We haven't got the Ireland semi-final since 2014. Like, so I mean, we're going to have to get back to the semi-final, but maybe winning All Ireland is just it's just a stretch too far for us, you know. Maybe, you know, because I think, you know, it's very hard to see a team, you know, like Tyrone were still getting the semi-finals, even got the All Ireland final 2018. Like, they still had a few years of kind of getting that level, and we aren't there yet, you know. And obviously they have a bit more, obviously, and yeah, so I think that's the big difference. So yeah, I do think it's going to be Dublin to win the All Ireland. So yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully you're right. Anyways, I'll say that. Like, hopefully you're right. But yeah, like it will be. I mean, I'm not too sure yet. I'm not going to quite say yet. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to play my cards just yet and say is Dublin going to win the All Ireland. But I definitely do agree with your points you're making there in terms of being a last dance. Like, there's definitely still a few All Irelands left in this Dublin side. In terms of the national league, like Division 1. Like, obviously, the sides who sometimes come through Division 1 aren't always the team who goes on to win the All Ireland. We've seen Kerry, for example, you know, I know they didn't win the league last year, but they were certainly on course to probably do that. You know, if that league final had been played, and they obviously won the league the season previous, in the final of the season before that. So, who do you think comes through the league there in Division 1? Who do you think wins that?
I think Tyrone are going to do it. No, not Tyrone. Kerry. I think Kerry are going to win. I think Kerry are going to not going to win Ireland, but Jack O'Connor. There's always the saying, you know, first impressions make lasting impressions, you know. But look, I'm sure people like Pat Spillane probably will give very high blood pressure at the idea, you know, of just a league title be considered a successful season for Kerry, you know, a league and a Munster, you know, when really the expectations always about, you know, bringing Sam back to the kingdom. But I just feel, yeah, I think, you know, that'll make it there. Like, but Kerry, they're still kind of, I don't know, like, I just haven't seen enough evidence. You know, they just choked so much in recent years to see them kind of go there. And I can't really say Dublin choked, like, because Mayo they brought on the extra man during that penalty kick out, you know, when Dublin were on the verge to go out by one up by 1 point, like, and then Mayo brought the extra winger. So they just played their card right, you know, and then they kind of were burnt out by the extra time, like. But I just think with this kind of, you know, but I'm sure your views and subscribers definitely helped the result of that game. But no, I definitely wouldn't. I definitely can't see, you know, Kerry won the All Ireland. You know, I just yeah, it's probably considered a famine down there. But look, sorry, I just don't have enough evidence.
Yeah, like, that's the thing with Kerry, isn't it? Because I mean, like, they have all the talent there, they have the players there, they have the bench. Now they have the manager, you know, an All Ireland winning manager. I mean, what more do they need really to go and win All Irelands? But it does seem to be maybe a bit like what we were saying with Donegal, like in those kind of big moments, or those kind of big crunch moments, going down, even in the All Ireland final in 2019, like, just going down that home stretch when there's 1 or 2 points in it. And that was something I was even saying, and you know, my own preview, I remember, for that All Ireland semi-final, and even when I was discussing Kerry leading up to the All Ireland Championship, is that maybe when there's 1 or 2 points in it, or there's not much going on the home stretch, you'd always feel like with this Kerry side in particular, how vulnerable their defence is, there's an opportunity there for opposing teams, and maybe you know, another sort of Marqueen goal kind of circumstance to win the games.
Yeah, that's it. Like, you know, they kind of look. I think it was a case, you know, in that replay, you know, that kind of Kerry missed their chance, you know, and they could have stopped. They could have easily, you know, stopped Dublin from doing it there, like, and even at that, you know. But yeah, I think, you know, maybe if Killian Spillane starts more, and I think, you know, I often think he's probably the most overlooked member of that team, you know, and I think he's nearly as important as David Clifford, you know, and even Paddy Clifford, you know, I'd say they're kind of, you'd even put them on an equal footing as well, like. So I would expect them to go out and win, or what do you call it? In a monster, and maybe a semi-final. Like they get the Iron final, like, but that's where kind of, and so Kerry fans get to keep on their tradition of going, to the All Ireland final. But as for bringing Sam home, like, I just, number 38 just won't be coming in 2022.
Well, hopefully you're right. Anyway, I definitely second your hope or your thinking on that ones. Anyways, but in terms of the whole 4 National League divisions, like, is there any sides there you think that could pull off a shock, or maybe go on a bit of a run? Like, you seen Offaly last year come through Division 3. You seen Derry win every game. You seen some sides getting relegated. Like, obviously you said Bocavan and Tipperary would finish down in the relegation places, and Division 4, you had Louth obviously going on a bit of a run there as well. So who do you think this time around could potentially maybe pull off a shock and an upset, maybe going up the divisions or maybe even going down the divisions?
I think that the 2 getting promoted in Division 2 will be Derry and Roscommon. And then the 2, I think, that are going to get relegated from Division 2 are Down, and who's the other team I believe is gonna go down? I think it will be Down and and Clare. Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough one, but I think, Kerry, kind of, they're kind of going to be, the regional thing helped them last year, but I think, they got there. And Division 3, I think it's going to be Fermanagh and Limerick. So it's good for the green and white teams. And then in the Division 3 relegation, I think it's going to be maybe probably Longford. They're probably, they're probably heading that note, at the wrong time. That's probably why it took so long to get a manager, because it's probably the hardest job in Gaelic football and Antrim. Yeah. So that's who I kind of see going there. And going up has to be Calvin and Tipperary, because they have no place in Division 4. Like, I can't really see past any teams properly challenging them going there, like, so. But I do think there may be some question there, like, so. I don't think any of those predictions are too bold, but it's kind of just what I'm thinking. Yeah. But
is there any player, do you think, maybe that we should watch out for that could potentially maybe catch an eye, or if you were to make a pick for a player that could potentially maybe come on the scene? It doesn't necessarily have to be from Donegal, but from any of the 31 counties and London, New York, or whatever. Like, do you think there's any one player there you think one to watch or whatever?
Number 1, I'll try pick a player from every division. So Division 1, whoever he declares to play for Kerry or Dublin, Pat Spillane. He's eligible for. He's eligible for both counties. If he gets picked by either team, he'll be a serious force. I'm sure. I'm shocked that Kerry didn't pick up on him earlier, like, but especially with the famous name, not even just that he's a good player, and but I thought that, and then Division 2, I think Anthony Tuchel, the son of Anton Tuchel, he's back. He was away and playing Australia, but he's he's back. He's back in there. He's doing like a medical degree there, so he's gonna be a force to be reckoned with. So I'd have to go out of the way to go and pick him. And as for Division 3, there is definitely a lot of young talents coming through there at the minute, but so yeah, probably there's like I think like so yeah who from Division 3 do I think will be next. Oh, like I do know Rory Brawley, the son of Joe Brawley, he was, I don't know, he wasn't playing last year for some reason, but he was captain under 20 before, like, so I definitely think he is going to be a real force that is going to have to be reckoned with, absolutely. So, and as for division 4, there's a few kind of good players there that need to be looked out for. So I would probably, but let me think. Andy Moran's bringing through good players there, but he's been struggling injuries, and he's not a young lad. I'm not picking out there, like, because it's not kind of like I don't expect any young player coming through in Division 4 to win an All-Star to be all fair to him, but I think Ryan O'Rourke, if you give him enough time, he can definitely show what he's worth with in Leitrim. So I definitely think he's definitely gonna give him his best shot there. Like, so yeah, I would probably have to go that there. Like, and obviously I probably would have said Red Oak Murphy, DCU and Sligo player, but he's dropped out. Like, so yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge miss, all right, for Sligo. And like you said, Ryan O'Rourke, hopefully he definitely gets game time anyways for Andy Moore, and definitely a top player coming through Leitrim there. Well, obviously he's not coming through, he's been there for a good couple of years now, but he's definitely one of the main men, I suppose, in that team. So you have Dublin then to win the All-Ireland. That's your team. Yeah. Then you think Dublin are getting back on top and making it 7 in 8 All-Irelands?
Yeah, which is pretty impressive, But the only thing is, though, it kind of the one break we had this year, I've no one against Dublin, but it got out the break, from the likes of Colin O'Rourke, and many other opponents. You kind of just, it's nearly just, it's just, I'm not a big Dublin fan or anything, like, but it can kind of do your head, all anti-Dublin things, because they were all running close. If they're beating every team by 20 points, like your carries and everyone, fair enough, like, but they're not, they were just well coached and everything, like, so I don't really think it's as bad, like, so that thing there, like, that's probably the main downside of it, but still, I still think that there's a lot to one there, but I definitely would have to back maybe Dublin to go and win the All-Ireland.
And in terms of the Donegal Hurlers, then looking at them, and is it Division 2A or Division 2A or Division 2B? I think it's 2A, 2B. How do you reckon they'll get on there?
They will. So we had wins over. We beat Mayo, who got to Nicky Rackard Cup final, obviously, and then we'd beat Roscommon as well, a Division 2A team. So we're definitely capable of that there, like, and we know we can kind of push on there, and what Kildare out of the way, Kildare have the capabilities to win the Joe McDonagh Cup, like, so, and they're under 20s beat Wexford, like, so they'll be coming through, like, in Kildare Kildare probably the next big powerhouse in hurling, so that's probably where every kind of lesser county want to be, like Kildare, but I think it's going to sound bold, but I think we're going to be in a final. I think it's going to be a Donegal Derry final, but I don't think we're good enough to beat Derry in the Division 2B final. But we're still, I think, we're still, we could beat Derry maybe in a league game, but if it was in a final, we wouldn't beat them. But the only thing I would say, though, so I would have to say we're probably good enough that there, like, we're definitely improving. And in the Nicky Rackard Cup, it's strange we didn't get, just promoted. Like, it's kind of a bit annoying, like, but I do think, Mayo out of the way, like, when nothing just went our way that game against Tyrone, probably quite similar circumstances to football, like, but I do think, we definitely have Tyrone's number in recent years, and we beat them more times than most, like, so I think we're capable of winning a Nicky Rackard Cup. So I would have to reckon there, like, I know we've lost, it's probably a big miss, probably Joe Boyle, who's just for work reasons is based in Mayo now, like, and we've a few other lads, like, and a lot of our teams, like, probably Declan Coulter and all are probably getting on with age, like, but I do think there's a Nicky Rackard Cup left in us.
Do you think hurling's on the rise in places like Donegal? Do you think there's more attention maybe being put on hurling nowadays? Like, because obviously when a lot of people think of Donegal, I mean, obviously we spoke about the footballers for a good 40 to 50 minutes, but people forget about the Donegal hurlers in there as well in Division 2. So do you think there definitely is a bit more, I suppose, promotion of hurling in Donegal? And do you think maybe you could expect to see maybe one or two good hurlers come out of Donegal maybe in the next, 5 to 10 years or whatever?
Yeah, look, there's been good hurlers that have come from Donegal in the past, and some of them have been played quite well on All-Star tours in Dubai and whatnot. Like, so definitely no mistake about that. Like, but a Cork man based in Donegal told me that Danny Cullen is the best hurler he's ever seen. Which is kind of a big phenomenon. Like, but he's kind of but what I would say is that yeah, the one thing we're doing is that we're getting more clubs. It's as simple as that. It's kind of you used to have it. There was only about 3 or 4 clubs in Donegal, but now there's kind of a good few lot of them now. Like, and we're getting it into West Donegal, which is the strong Gaelic football area. So you're getting into the Irish speaking areas, and now you're kind of, as soon as we get hurling there, kind of like it's gonna start to kind of once get that there, like, because for years it was just the West Donegal, there was no hurling there, but we've finally brought on there. Like, so if you're based in West Donegal, North Donegal, East Donegal, South Donegal, there is a hurling club within your locality. Like, so it's gonna get maybe children there. Like, and look, the main way to promote it is get like coaches in the schools. Like, but obviously that costs money and everything. Like, but definitely it's done a lot of good for football. Like, so maybe that can be done in Donegal. It's definitely a thing there, and maybe and definitely look. Some people oppose it, but I would be open to the idea of maybe a team Ulster competing in the Liam McCarthy minus Antrim would be probably something I'd be open to. But it would be but if we did win a Liam McCarthy, that would be a bit controversial. I can understand why certain counties would oppose it. Like, but I would like to see it maybe trialed for a year or two.
Yeah, like it's one of personally, I wouldn't be behind it myself. Personally, like I think there would be one of those. I don't know. I just find it a little bit odd. I think if if a team Ulster or whatever started going on a run and started beating teams, it would just feel a little bit strange. But at the same time, it would be great for those counties of Ulster. And personally, I do think at some point, they should bring back the Ulster Senior Hurling Championship. Maybe not as a don't put it in the same breath as the other 3 or the other 2 provinces, I should say, because obviously we don't have Connacht, but they probably should bring that back at some stage as well. Maybe just maybe just not go away. Like, but when you look at it, like, you've got Antrim, who's doing very well there. Down look like they're bringing through a good couple of players. Derry obviously have a lot of good hurling clubs in there, like Slot Neil, who are obviously a dual club. So if you would have the 4 of yous, let's say, in a Ulster Championship, maybe as a pre-season tournament, like, I'm sure a lot of people could get behind that. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Like, I think it's kind of like Ulster GAA, who scrapped the Ulster Hurling Championship on their own merit, and they fought tooth and nail to retain it, with the whole Proposal B situation for the football. Like, so I do think I would like to see it brought back. I wonder, like, keep your Joe McDonoughs and Christy Rings and whatnot, like, but maybe kind of I would like to see it as a pre-season tournament just to get it going there, and even at that, like, and look, I'm not expecting one club for Mana to beat for Antrim, like, but it's something we can look about in the future, and it's definitely I would like to see, and even because Antrim would probably realistically play their B team in a tournament like there, so it probably gives everyone an equal chance. So yeah.
And in terms of the overall big picture, then, in terms of hurling, like in terms of the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship, National League, or whatever, are Limerick still the team to be in your eyes? Like, having won 3 All-Irelands in 4 years, like they're the dominant force. They're the Dublin now of hurling in many ways, like in terms of dominance.
Yeah, I think they would have had a wee bit of a better age difference by maybe a few years younger than that Kilkenny team. They're dominant, so I think that's going to be the boiling point. I think they'll make it to the 5 in a row. And I say that, but if someone goes out of their way and beats Limerick, and maybe if Colin Bonnar or Tipperary or whatnot, and could go and challenge them, or maybe, that could definitely be the one there, or maybe, but I still kind of can't see anyone challenging them, but I do think that we will be ready to what do you call it, challenge. Yeah, so. But I just don't think there's. I can't see past Limerick. You know, they'll win the league as well, and they'll win the Munster, and I genuinely can't see anyone kind of pushing them on. I would like to see it, but kind of just it's very hard for me to see it, you know. But maybe I think Kilkenny will probably win Leinster again. Maybe Galway, you know, they might be. I would love to see Henry Shefflin do that with them. You know, it's definitely, you know, maybe he's probably going to take them for a year or two and maybe go and become Kilkenny manager eventually. But yeah.
Yeah, no, like for myself personally, yeah, you'd have to look at Limerick as the team. Like, it's one of them things in hurling where you've got so many teams that could potentially, you know, go on a run in the All Ireland, and you've Waterford that are building very good there as well. Like, and you know, Galway, Dublin, Antrim looking better as always. But you will definitely have to have Limerick probably as the number one favourites and the team to beat at the minute anyways. But I suppose before we wrap up, GAA's own podcast, where can, I suppose, people find your own podcast if they're looking for it? And if
Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, and other ones, there's many other great ones. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, look, listen, cheers, Patrick, and you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.